I'll cut all that bit.
I am an optimist, actually.
Can we both apologise now for
Just a horrible knob reference.
Morning, madam. Could I interest you in a pocket?
What are you like?
Are you afraid? I'm going to probe you
No, you
in
can
places
probe me,
you've
man.
never been probed before.
I doubt that.
Behave. Shush. now.
I am sorry.
Stop talking.
Will do.
Well, actually, no, do start talking. Just checking. Are we ready, Mr. Cheese? What kind of kid were you?
Shy. Typical only child of older parents.
Quiet. Only child.
I was quite violent.
Funny.
Greedy.
Untroubled, short, became spotty, stayed short.
I'm going to start that again. I wasn't violent at all. That is quite the opposite. I was meek. I used to like my own company.
I think odd would be the first word that springs to mind.
Insular, unusual, odd, found it difficult to form relationships with people. Mostly, I would prefer to make a relationship with a baby bird or perhaps a newt.
I'd like to stay in my bedroom and listen to kind of comedy records and sort of study things and practice faces in front of the bathroom mirror.
Mischievous, but I don't think I was nasty.
You were, as far as I can tell from what you told me, you used to go around throwing stones at people and smashing windows and misbehaving and wandering the countryside.
I haven't, no. Wandering the countryside like a raggle-taggle
little
gypsy.
gang.
Oh. We were quite nice, really.
Yeah, well, in those days, that's what everyone did.
Obviously, there was a bit of stone...
Were you a thug?
No, I was quite a nice bloke. Although it was stone throwing, obviously.
What about
there
you,
was
Charlie,
extortion,
I was...
taking.
I was quite quiet and swatty.
I was a swat. I think primarily that's how I defined myself. I came top in some exams, and then as I went to a larger school, I came nearly top in some exams, and that was soul-destroying, and I was sort of mocked for that, but also it's a thing about yourself. It's a thing you're good at, and I was good at lessons.
Spoiled?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, loved. Because I had a brother who died. Obviously younger than me.
Yes.
And so I was Dad's last fling, I think, and so I got all the love and attention that the other baby would have got.
I was second down. My brother, unfortunately, I still miss him. He was torpedoed on the 2nd of December 1940. He was lost at sea during the war. And I miss John Christopher Carson. He was 16-year-old, his first trip abroad.
There's an older brother who's 16 months older than me, and then there's a younger brother who's 14 years younger than me.
So no girls?
No, but I mean, I think I'm pretty.
How many kids were there?
4, 3 girls and a boy. I was the boy.
I had a brother who was a genius, another brother who was even smarter than him, and I felt like I was retarded compared to them.
Really?
So I started becoming funny. It was the only way to mean anything, to attract attention, to become some kind of a character in the family.
My mum used to have a rule that I wasn't allowed to start chattering at her until she'd started her second cup of tea in the morning. I always wanted to talk from the second I got up in the morning, and by the time my older brothers and sisters were at school, I was the only one at home, so I had my mum to myself. So I'd wait until and then I'd start, I
was in the middle. I've got 2 younger brothers, 2 older, so and my parents fostered children, so it was always quite a busy house, and really if you wanted any attention you had to fight for it. So I remember saying look at me a lot, and watch what I can do, watch what I can do.
Used to record little audio tapes when like 5 and 6, and I remember listening to one a few years ago, kind of rummaging and finding it, and it's me doing like little bits of comedy and impressions and singing daft songs, and while the family is in the background sort of talking, and I remember thinking how witty I was at the time and how talented I was, and then you do hear a relative just going, oh, he's just showing off now. You just hear that quietly in the background. And even now, as an adult, I went, oh, just really deflated.
My mum has this contact sheet of pictures of me when I was little that she had a photographer come round. It was great. I'm doing little tricks, and I'm conducting a band, and I'm pretending to smoke in one of them. I'm like 2.
I like to set myself tasks like climbing the tallest poplar tree in the park, retrieving eggs from barnyards without anyone knowing about them.
Over the road from the street where I grew up, there was disused chalk mine and army barracks, all disused and overgrown. I'd go over there and liberate fledglings from the tyranny of their bird parents. You can't be brought up by these idiot birds. I'll bring you up in the back of the Walker, my Star Wars thing. And it's like they died always, very quickly. It's really hard to keep a baby bird alive.
So you're a bird murderer, really?
I was sort of a kind of ornithological Dennis Nilsson.
I wanted to be leader of the pack.
Yes.
I wanted to be a hero. I wasn't equipped physically for it. Actually, I was a very delicate child.
Were you?
No, not really. You see, there are two biographies to every comic. There's the true one, the true story,
yes,
which is very ordinary, and then there's the one you make up and you tell your punters about. When I was a child, nobody wanted me. I was rejected. Little boy next door refused to have me as his imaginary friend.
I had a wild neighborhood, I got to tell you, because my mother's Puerto Rican and my father's Negro, and we lived in a real big Jewish tenement building in an Italian neighborhood. Every time I go outside, the kids say, "Get him, he's all of them."
I don't remember a great deal of laughter, except that Dad said things sometimes that made me funny. I remember we were watching a variety show once, and there was some act on, and he just said to me very seriously, he said, "I don't think this will ever replace entertainment, do you?" And I thought that was terribly funny and elegant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
My dad was funny, but not so much as funny as being a liar. He was the biggest liar in God's earth. He said he got the military medal at the Battle of the Somme. He was a liar. He was only 3-year-old. He got the military medal at the battle for destroying the enemy lines of communication. I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I eat the pigeon."
My father was very rude. I remember him using the equivalent of F words and C words in the Iranian language, Farsi. I could hear that when I was like 5 or 6. I remember thinking, he's really foul-mouthed, and that's inappropriate to talk like that around me, but it was very funny.
When we sat down for dinner, he'd have a little stick, and if you managed one, he'd give you a clout, you know. Father once asked me who was the first man mentioned in the Bible, and I said chap 1, and that was nearly blasphemy. That was nearly blasphemy, you know. I mean, yeah, you're sent to bed for every day for a week. Like, it's serious.
My dad's side of the family thought they were funny, but weren't really. I remember one of my cousins saying to me once, do you eat meat? And I said, yeah, I do. He said, "That's a terrible thing. What a terrible thing to do." And I said, "Yeah, but we got the right teeth, you know, got the molars and the incisors and everything." And he said, "Yes, but God has given us a brain, and, you know, we don't have to eat meat. There are a lot of people in the world who are vegetarians, very healthy, very successful." And I said, "Well, I suppose so." And he said, "You don't feel bad when you see a lamb playing in the field, you know, you're driving in the car, you see a lamb bouncing up, you don't feel bad?" And I said, I've never thought about it that way. And I said, "Do you eat meat?" And he said, "Oh, yes. And I said, "Why do you eat it?" And he said, "I really like the taste." And that was his argument.
My mother was the funny one. She would take a rubber band, cut it in half, and stuff it in her nose and be at a very elegant dinner party, and this thing would fall out, and my dad would go, "Great. She's doing, oh, good, it's great."
So gags, you actually did
Big
gags.
gags, yeah. And Dad was more like, "Oh, please, oh."
Both my parents were communists. We would go to sort of big public meetings, you know, protest things. And the only way I knew how to get around London was to start at Speaker's Corner and walk down the middle of the road shouting. And I could only ever go to the American Embassy or St. Paul's.
Now, in my head, my mother's mother, my grandmother, that side, was funny. I have nothing to back this up. I have no anecdote about it.
Yes.
But somehow in my head, I remember her as being funny. She did have a very funny doll she got from Paris as a young girl when she went there. And it was a sort of, you know, it was quite a lifelike rubber doll.
Yes.
And you squeeze its stomach and its bra fell down.
I'm loving that.
Yeah.
Does it still exist?
No.
Oh.
Sadly, we overused it. And the rubber weathered.
They all went to sea, you say. All the men were all sailors.
Yeah.
So they'd be away for a long time. So the women ran the shop. And then the men had come back, and of course it was, as they said, jars out. You know, there'd be a big barrel in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember my Uncle Harold came back with a bush baby. It was before quarantine.
An actual live bush baby?
Yeah, a bush baby. And my Auntie Annie said, "Oh, isn't it good? It sleeps all day." No, because it slept all day. Of course, these things are nocturnal. So everybody went to bed. And it sounded like we had burglars. Smash, crash. And my Auntie Annie came down with the rollers in and her glasses, and this thing leapt at her, ripped the glasses off her face, hanging off her rollers. So that went to Chester Zoo, the bush baby. But we had all sorts, parrots, and all manner was brought back. So it was a bit of a madhouse when I was a kid.
My grandma was very, very funny, and there was a parrot that lived next door that said the N-word. It said it all the time. And when we left there, we left on a train, and my grandmother was laughing. I said, Grandma, what are you laughing at? She said, the bird won't be saying that anymore. I said, why? She said, I poisoned it.
My dad was the vicar of the Isle of Dogs. There was nowhere to exercise a dog. My parents wanted a dog, so we couldn't really have a dog. So instead, they bought a cat, which they then treated like a dog for its whole life. And I had one brother, but this cat was like, you know, a third child. When I was about 17, my dad was made a bishop, and he moved to Yorkshire, and we had to stay in London because I was doing my A-levels. So my mum stayed with me, my brother left home, my mum stayed with me, and we lived in a flat, and my dad took the cat. But the cat obviously couldn't be left in Yorkshire if he came to visit or something. Because, you know, cats don't do that.
No.
No, cats travel. And because he thought that the cat might, you know, get a bit bored or something in the car, he built a shelf for the cat, which went from the dashboard of the car to the headrest.
So it's in the front seat?
It's in the front seat.
Where, frankly, your mother should be?
Yeah, if you saw the car coming, there's a bishop and a cat.
Dearly beloved,
Were you a performer then?
No, not at all.
You wouldn't do a turn for your mum or anything?
Oh, I used to go to the kitchen table and sing, kiss me, honey, honey, kiss me.
I call that a performer, Paul, sorry.
No, I did. You know, they said,
Did you?
Get up, Paul. Yeah, and I'd get up and we had a tape machine and then I'd sing this, kiss me, honey, honey, kiss me.
And would they be laughing at that, or would they be genuinely
Oh, no, roaring. Roaring, laughing.
The only one turn I did for my family was when I played truant to go on New Faces. I went for an audition from school Friday, and I didn't go to school. Mum was waiting for me when I got back. I'd spent all day away from school, and I didn't get back from Birmingham until 6 o'clock. And she was waiting there like this, and she said, where have you been today? And I said, I went for an audition. Audition for what? I said, for this talent show, New Faces. And it was like an alien had just gone like this and ripped off its face to reveal that it was an alien. Because she didn't know about this other life. I did a 10-minute version of here's a funny story, thank you very much, and good evening, and all the impressions that I used to do, and she just sort of laughed. Well, it wasn't a kind of a ha-ha-ha, very funny, it was a kind of kind of hysterical, strange, he does this, oh God, what does this mean kind of laugh.
Did you ever do a turn when you were a kid? Were you ever required
I could do
to
my grandmother. My mother had a nickname, Punky, and I'd go, Punky, Punky, oh, we're all missing you down here. You should come back down now. It's so wonderful. The clan doesn't have the regular sheets, we do fitted sheets. It's a club, it's more like a club, and they don't burn across, they have a neon one they turn on. They're much more accessible. But I would kid her with that, and she would be mellow with that.
So it was safe for you to be funny as a kid?
I was like the little kid who could be seen but not heard. You know, the thing of come down, entertain. Hello, sir, nice to meet you. Ta-da, get out. You know, meet the guests, go back upstairs.
I did want to be in control. I am a control freak, so I wanted to be in control. We'd go once or even twice a week to theatres here on Merseyside to see shows, and that's when I fell in love with the stage. I realised right away that the leader of the gang, the engine driver of any show, the boss man was always the comedian. And so I used to, now and then we'd give backyard concerts.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes, backyard concerts. Admission, 1 cigarette card, or 2 conkers.
My sister is a couple of years older than me, and she was very entertaining, and she used to recite Pam Ayres poems. and then we used to have a little puff that and she used to stand on the puff and recite Pam Ayres poems. And then I just
for the benefit of the family.
Yes, for the family.
Did it hurt your back?
I wish I looked after me teeth. And then I'd push her off and get off, and I'd just go pa 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 pa, because I hadn't learnt any poems, but I wanted to have the same experience of people looking at me and enjoying it. So I used to just go pa 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 pa.
Down in the village hall, they were having an Edwardian evening, and
everyone was going to be doing songs and all dressed in Edwardian gear and singing, you know, Daisy, Daisy and stuff like that. That was how it was done. My brother and I decided what we would do is a ventriloquist act, and I'd be the dummy. I had this little sort of Edwardian sailor suit on. I was about 8 or something, and huge red cheeks, and I sat on his knee, and of course he did the feed lines, and I did the and I can remember the feeling of this guy in the front row almost dying of laughter. I mean, he was seriously in pain to that point where you think, maybe I should stop, actually, because this is
might kill him.
Quite bad.
That sort of nurtured any skills in you that might be useful later?
No teacher at any point in my school career commented, or I suspect even noticed, that I had a glimmer of creativity in me. I mean, it was completely... because the only ones who did that were the ones who wrote poems about carpets of snow and using the word verdant. You know what I mean? They were immediately spotted as
yes.
very creative,
yes.
you know? But I don't think anyone who actually thought in an original way was sort of noticed at all in that very middle public school atmosphere at Clifton College.
I went to a Catholic school. In fact, it was the only Catholic school in our area. It was a convent. So my first school was a convent. It was taught by nuns, exclusively by nuns. And I always stick up for nuns when people are, you know, often in plays or whatever, or books that people are slagging off saying nuns are evil witches. And in my experience, they're fantastic. I haven't got a bad word to say. There was one nun who used to really make you eat your school dinners. And that was as bad as they got.
I was not the class clown going, hey, everyone, get a load of me. In fact, there was a class clown. I thought he was an arsehole. Right? I was like, you know, and it was all so obvious.
Did anyone notice that you had comedy skills?
Oh, yes, but they called it cheek. And I had one headmaster, he just didn't like me.
In fact, I used to tell a joke in front of the class on a Monday morning. My teacher used to let me... This is like therapy, this is weird.
I'm loving this.
He used to let me tell a joke in front of the class on a Monday because he said it would keep me quiet.
Did you get into trouble with the teachers?
Yeah. Quite a lot, in fact. I would rehearse up an idea, and then we'd go, okay, ready, let's go. And then stand up in the middle of like a French class and just do this thing that would inevitably split the audience, split the whole class, and, you know, you'd get... some people would go, oh, that's brilliant, that's really good and funny, and other people would just be, well, you're just ruining this lesson for us.
Our teacher left one year, and we'd had her for 4 years, and she wrote a sort of little poem about everyone. And me and my mate Paul were really good at drawing, and she wrote, one day Paul will be a famous artist throughout the land, and she just didn't put anything about my painting or drawing. She put, Noel's really funny and can make the class laugh and can do funny accents, and I was like, absolutely, that's not interested in that.
I wouldn't have thought if anybody had spotted me as a child, they would have said, oh, I bet he'll grow up to do comedy on the TV.
They still don't, Charlie.
Yes. And I certainly never thought that's what I would do. I ended up in this by accident entirely.
My sister reckons that I've lost my sense of humour since I've been involved in comedy.
Well, you can say what you like, but it's a funny-looking baby to me.
It's a bit odd.
I mean, I've never seen one with a cleft chin and 2 warts under its nose.
You look at the wrong ends.
There was, like, gangs of kids who wanted to look cool or talk about football and like, boys' things. And there was a very small gang of us, which was actually 2 of us.
You and who? Who's the...
Me and Rod Wilcox, and we used to, you know, it was just like, it was the Comedy Central there. That was just like, did you see Monty Python last night? Let's not repeat that sketch, but make our own up.
I'd come home from school with someone, like a friend on the bus, and say, come back to my house, because it was on the bus route. And I'd put on a Monty Python record that I'd heard 100 times before, just to watch them laugh at it, and just sit there watching them like that, and then listening to it, you know, waiting for them for a funny bit, and would just enjoy. But I couldn't listen to it on my own. I want to see someone else laughing at it.
Did you ever think for a second that you could do that yourself as a career? When you were kind of...
Can I say yes?
I'd got a laugh when I was 12. Cricketing laugh. There's a thing I noticed with cricketers that they would... that you see them practicing, you know, even professionals, they practice this forward defence thing, and the ball comes down and you just try and hit anything, and then you practice what you would have done afterwards, this forward defence thing, and it comes down, you fucking hit it over there, and then you practice that one. That's what I should have done, but I just tried to hit it out of my face. So I did a bunch of those, and they were getting laughs, and I thought, yeah. And I do remember that being, oh, unexpected laughs.
Roger. In order for you to be brought about, it was necessary for your mother and I to do something. In particular, it was necessary for your mother to sit on a chair. To sit on a chair which I had recently vacated and which was still warm from my body.
This is only because I'm trying to find out the answer to this. Okay. Did you show your cock to other boys?
What? No.
Okay, thank you for that.
No. I did not show my penis to somebody at school, ever.
Did I show... No, to other girls.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, not in a kind of like... Not that they didn't want to, either. This was treading in a very dangerous briar patch here.
Okay, I might be completely wrong about this. I've got... might be maybe the kind of school my brother went to. He said they used to show each other cocks all the time, and they used to have pissing competitions.
Oh, we played cross swords, I mean, sure. I mean, sorry, I didn't think you were talking about that. Yeah, you'd kind of do cross wheeze.
Crossing beams, Star Wars style. So I remember a guy called... Shall I mention him? Yeah, why not? Name and shame. I remember him going, it was all right to pee around his, he had like a downstairs toilet utility type thing. And he said, you can pee anywhere, my mum doesn't mind. So the two of us peed up I was peeing up the wall, we were peeing across, peeing like the pee was going, you know, and I got into so much trouble. She came round to my mum's and said, your son's peed everywhere.
Did you, out of interest, show your cock to other boys when you were young?
Yes. Not before I'd drawn a felt-tip face on, well, what I will refer to as the helmet, Dawn, because then there's the element of surprise. You draw a face on the helmet and then go, here, come have a look, and then pull the foreskin back to reveal the face.
Yeah.
And that the sudden revelation of a previously concealed fact, one of the secrets of comedy.
It wasn't sexual.
No.
It was, you know, like swinging it round and who had the biggest, and, you know, so show us your knob. But it wasn't a sexual thing, and you go, Jesus, the size of that, and forgotten, and off you'd go then to history.
What we did when we were kids, when we used to go swimming, we were really young, like 12, if there was quite a sexy sort of a lifeguard in the swimming pool, like a woman, I think we used to pull our sort of ridiculously small boys' penises out the side of our trunks and sort of run past her and then dive in. Like that would have any effect on a fully grown woman. A 12-year-old with his penis out the side of his trunks, with his speedo. Like she was going to go, oh, I'm going to find him in the change rooms later.
In any school productions?
We did a Brecht play, I remember the last year I was at senior school. It was The Resistible Rise of Arturo Ui, you know, the sort of, the parody of the rise of Nazis. And I had the lead role, obviously, Arturo Ui. And I really went to town with that. I dyed my hair black and combed it over, grew a little moustache, and my mum, she goes to me, she said, "Oh, you look very smart," and I just say that my mum says you look like Hitler, and she said, "Well, I don't care. You look very nice."
I didn't try to be funny in plays at school till I was about
14, and before that, like at primary school, they'd put me in plays and I'd have quite small parts, but I was as rubbish as everyone else, if not more rubbish. I also had a speech impediment at the time. I couldn't say sir. Sir came out sir, rather than sir. So I was more into visual comedy, what with not being able to speak. I would sort of do little mimes.
Silent, miserable mime in the
Silent,
class.
miserable mime. Where did you get miserable out of this? I was perfectly happy.
Me and Steve Parry and Rod Wilcox were in charge of the spotlights on one play, and we thought it was hilarious to miss everybody with the spots. So there was comedy on the stage, as far as we were concerned, but not to the actors or the parents and the drama teacher who did a triple slap along the backs of our heads.
Someone had dropped out of this play. I think it's called All the King's Men. It was a kind of operetta because the boy didn't want to be in a dress with a wig on. Because, you know, at school, all boys school, you don't want to be called gay, you know. And so they asked me to do it. And a dress, yes, of course, no problem. And I had a wig, and the other boys didn't have wigs, but my mum got me a sort of special wig and everything. So I looked better than the rest of the boys in the dresses as well.
You know, I used to love Lent, when everything was draped in purple. You know, and the bishop would come and the thurible would be swung and there'd be incense everywhere, and I used to think, I want to be on the altar. And eventually, when I got on the altar, I mean, I didn't stay very long because I was the worst altar boy going.
Why?
Well, because I did I used to, you know, go up the altar steps with the thurible and I'd do over the shoulders to the congregation. And I used to...
ever after the theatre of it,
This is
then?
it.
Yeah.
I used to lift the cassock, you know, like, and show a bit of ankle.
Finishing high school in San Francisco in 1969, in the peak of the happy times, you know, everyone's stoned. I mean, there was you're just doing wild stuff. I went from this, you know, ties and blazers to all of a sudden, like, don't be afraid. This is history class. Everyone, we're going to reenact the Civil War with a group hug. It was like, cool.
Was it? Really
Yeah.
cosmic.
That opened it up. That all of a sudden, and then I performed in this school play at the end of the year where I made fun of all the teachers, and all of a sudden I went, this is interesting. The laughter and also the approbation.
I remember being at a friend's house at a sleepover when we were all about 15, 16, and somebody deciding that I was funny and waking me up. I was fast asleep and sitting on a chair, still with my sleeping bag around me, and about a dozen of the boys who are in my year, while I went through a roster of impressions and really, really making people laugh. Like impressions of teachers and of other pupils, and just coming out with it like a stream of consciousness, and everybody really laughing and suddenly becoming like a celebrity.
People would say to me a lot, you should be on the telly, right? I was sitting in the sixth form canteen just eating some dreadful food, and I remember thinking, the generation that was the cutting edge then was your generation, which is, I'd say, just before my generation, if you want to be.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in this common room thinking, why can't I be part of this new generation? Because there has to be a new generation. And I had this sort of moment where I was thinking, there must be people in sixth form common rooms all around the country who don't know that they're going to be part of a new generation.
Ah, comedy orchestra illusa Napoli.
Dawn French has a more in-depth chat with Russell Brand on BBC 4 in 5 minutes. Next here on BBC 1, an epic retelling of a battle that shaped America. Dennis Quaid heads the cast at the Alamo.
La comédie d'un jour, la comédie de ta vie.